discuss the biological succession, okay, on rocks, maybe on sand dunes. Okay, they can ask you biological succession of Hydrarch or Hydrosphere, biological succession of lithosere. Let me explain this. What are the types? What are the types of biological succession? The types of biological succession, this depends on the nature of the initial surface. The type of biological succession depends on the nature of the initial surface. Okay, so if it is bare rock or even dry conditions, they're almost the same. Okay, we call this as Hydrarch. We also have almost the same lithosere. Okay, if it is on sand dunes, it's called as samosere. If it is on water, some aquatic surface, is called as hydrosphere. Exactly same nahi hai, but you keep hydrosphere same as Hydrarch. It is not exactly same. थोड़ा फर्क है. Okay, but we will consider them to be same. इतना detailing हम करेंगे तो खत्म ही हो जाएंगे. Okay, hydrosphere और Hydrarch, samosere, Hydrarch ये dry conditions के लिए, xerophytic Hydrarch and lithosere for the rocks. But in दोनों में there's a lot of similarities. Okay, there are a lot of similarities, Hydrarch and lithosere. Okay, so that is what I asked. Discuss the biological succession on rocks or sand dunes or lithosere. So I'll give you one common example. This is also same as Hydrarch or Hydrosphere. यही लिख के आ जाना. हम आपको दो बताएंगे, दोनों लिख के आ जाना, दोनों ही पढ़ लेना. कुछ भी पूछेगा, one of them you have to write down. Hydrarch, Hydrosphere, ये भी हम बता देंगे आपको. I'll give you two sequence, be with it. देखो बेटा, all of these things are very specialized studies. उतने specialization में जाएंगे, फिर तो बेटा मारे जाएंगे. There's no chance you can finish off the rest. So quickly, whatever we can do, we'll try doing it. But let's not get into every detail. Okay, you'll only compromise your chances then. There is different. Hydrarch and Hydrosphere are different, but we will take them to be same. So for Hydrarch, Hydrosphere, lithosere, हम एक ही लिख के आएंगे. Okay, and I'll teach you about the Hydrosphere also. So I'm giving you the sequence for Hydrarch or lithosere. Okay, so what are the stages? What are the stages in this? So the initial, it is bare and dry rocks. Bare and dry rocks. How is this formed? It may be formed because of new volcanic accumulation. It may be formed because of land emerging from the sea, maybe some tectonic event, land has come out. It may be because of massive landslides and new surface exposed. So this is starting is bare and dry rocks. इसमें जो bare surface है, the bare surface, it has no soils, it has no life forms. उसके बाद क्या है? The rocks develop some cracks or joints, and winds may carry the first insects. So it could be spiders. Okay, they are the ones to come in first, and next what happens is, okay, then fungus and algae, spores may accumulate. This can develop into lichens. Not always, कभी कभी होता है, but not always. Lichens may develop into lichens, but not always in tundra regions. But fungus and algae, they come up, and effectively these are the pioneering species. They colonize first, and then, okay, there is soil formation. This is the ascesis stage. ये जो fungus, algae, spiders, okay, the slowly, gradually, the soil formation, the pehla sediments, they are formed. Then we have a stage, it's called as the more stage. M-O-R, the more stage. The first plants-like organism, जैसे mosses form. I hope you know this. जो moss होता है, the moss is not plants. They look like plants, but they're not really plants. Moss stage. The first plants like life forms are formed, and there are more of spiders, insects like springtails. Yes, they're not true plants. I remember phylums called as Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. If you know a bit of botany, agar kuch base hai. Okay, so they're not true plants. They have leaf-like, root-like features. Okay, so mosses is, okay, I do not know more than that. उसके आगे पूछोगे तो मैं हाथ खड़े कर दूंगा. ठीक है, so they are non-vascular, correct. The moss stage, along with spiders, along with springtails. Okay, so there are more of spiders and springtails, small insects, spring stage. And then we have the herbaceous stage. These are the first true plants. Okay, we will have weeds and supporting insects. You might have beetles, you might have grasshoppers, and then we will have the shrub stage. These are woody bushes. Yes, weeds in the joints, correct. And finally, we have the woodland and forests, climax communities. ठीक है? Yeah. So ये है sequence. And you could probably have quick sketches. So maybe a bare rock दिखा देना ऐसे. Okay, then you have got the rocks developing some cracks, joints. Then you have the surface, cracks hai, joints hai. And there is fungus, algae. You'll have the first type of soil formation. Then you have the mosses. The mosses accumulate. while the cracks have become larger, moss accumulates. Then you have the first herbs, okay, herb stage. Then you have the bushes. So woody bushes, the stems are harder, thicker. And finally, you have the tall trees, nudation, cracks and joints, fungus and algae, mosses, herbaceous stage, the shrub stage, and forests and woodland. This is I'm leaving this on the screen. And if you have a question on this, start with couple of lines on what is biological succession. Usse shuru karna. What is biological succession? And you could probably have a schematic, tell the stages, the nudation stage. Okay, you have the SSC stage, the reaction competition stage, the climax stage. ऐसे कुछ बनाकर you can show the sequence. These are the phases. Moss is one type of a life form that looks like plants. और जब मॉस होगा उसके साथ में कुछ और कीड़े भी होंगे, स्पाइडर्स हैं, स्प्रिंग टेल्स हैं. सो स्पेसिफिक नेम्स बता दिया और क्या करना है. So moss stage is not really the very dense stage. Is the first plant-like life forms are starting off, right? Savindra Singh, Environment Geography. अगर पुराना एडिशन है तो पेज 129, अगर नया एडिशन है तो पेज 133. So try either of these. Your textbook, Savindra Singh, Environment Geography. ठीक है? अगर older edition है, it is page number 129. And if it's a new edition, it's page number 133. 133. Fine. I'm starting off now. So, successional development of plant communities, biotic succession or ecosystem succession. So, the first few lines are explanation of what is succession. A natural process of replacement of one vegetation community in a given habitat by another community. There is a directional sequential change of the entire plant community and so on. The next talks about the phases of biotic succession. And by the way, just know this. Who are the people who studied this? Remember two names. One is Clements, or एक है Whittaker. Remember both these names. Okay, so use these names wherever you can in your discussions. F.E. Clements' concept and Whittaker's concept. Okay, so then he talks about the phases of biotic succession: nudation, migration, ascesis, reaction, stabilization. Okay, the next page, page number 130 in the old edition. In the new edition, it could be 134. Factors of biotic succession, dekho. Climatic factors, edaphic factors, biotic factors, physiographic, topographical factors, fire as a factor. Okay, then you have got Clements talks about primary succession, secondary succession, kuch autogenic, allogenic. Just know these terms. But the one I've taught you right now, lithosere or xerosere wala, can you see this primary biotic succession? Look at the second paragraph. It says stages of primary succession. Okay. Now this write-up is the succession of lithosere. This is the succession of a lithosere. It is for lithosere or xerosere also. So look at the last line of this paragraph, okay, or last 2-3 lines. Thus, primary succession of vegetation on a bare rock surface having no prior vegetation and animals starts and is completed through the following stages. Initial plant-free site, dry environment, pioneering plants are established, The plants include algae, lichens. They easily stick to the bare rocks and adapt. Then dust particles blown by the winds. The lichens secrete acids. There is soil formation, microorganisms. Then there are soil living organisms. So whatever I've discussed right now is mentioned here. So page 134, stages of the primary succession. I've shown the references. I also want to tell you about the sequence of the Hydrarch or Hydrosphere. ये आपकी किताब में नहीं है. You go by the class notes, please. The development of Hydrarch or Hydrosphere. Okay, ये Xerarch या Xerosier या फिर Lithosere दोनों के लिए यूज कर लेना. It's applicable for both.